Today's scripture is from 1 Peter chapter 5, 1 through 8. Now, as an elder myself and a witness to the sufferings of Christ, as well as one who shares in the glory to be revealed, I exhort the elders among you to tend to the flock of God that is in your charge, exercising your oversight, but not under compulsion, but willingly, as God would have you do it, not for sordid gain, but eagerly. Do not lord it over those in your charge, but be examples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd appears, you will win the crown of glory that never fades away. In the same way, you who are younger must accept the authority of the elders. And all of you must clothe yourselves with humility in your dealings with one another. For God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, so that he may exalt you in due time. Cast away all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. Discipline yourselves, keep alert.
So the first time that I encountered elders in a church setting was when I was an intern at LaPorte Community Church. The church was both UCC and Disciples, like our church. The thing that really impressed me about this church was their system of compassion and support through their elder care groups. Every member was assigned an elder who would look after them, much like a shepherd would look after her sheep. They met twice a month in a closed and confidential setting where they would share any concerns with the pastor and the other elders. I was amazed and I immediately recognized the benefit. These folks had created a systematic approach to ensure loving care within their congregation. Further, it served as a communication vehicle to keep the pastor informed of any pastoral needs, as well as a way to delegate a communal approach to pastoral care. These folks took their shepherding role seriously, visiting shut-ins and folks in the hospital, taking home communion, providing counsel and encouragement and nurture, helping with any needs. This was not just something the called ordained minister did on behalf of their church. This was something the church did. And they had an organized structure to accomplish it. The other thing that was new to me was that these same elders helped to serve communion, offering prayer over the elements. And like all disciples of Christ congregations, they had communion every Sunday. I was used to having communion only once a month, and then only the ordained minister officiated at the table. But here a lay person was offering the prayer of blessing. Now this person was ordained an elder in the church, but it wasn't the same as my ordination. They didn't go to seminary, they didn't go through the ecclesiastical process of the ordained clergy, and yet elders were set aside by the church, by God, by the laying on of hands, to commission them for this ministry, or in other words, to ordain them to the position of elder. Now, I admit I was fascinated by these differences, but most of all, I was amazed at their effectiveness. These folks in that church really cared about one another, and they had a systematic way to ensure that it happened. When I started this church, Hope United, I wanted our church to have such a system of care. Although we had a communion elder each Sunday, the concept of a functioning board of elders was beyond our reach, especially in the early stages. Even so, because we were dedicated to offering safe space where people knew they were welcome, affirmed, and loved, we started with shepherds. And the goal was to ensure that every person knew that at least one other person cared about them. It was some success in that, but it was hard to get started, and we kind of went through several restarts. It was just hard to get started in an early stage. Now, since that time, we have grown and matured. We're living into the vision of the Board of Elders, who are responsible for the spiritual life and development of the congregation. We've had elders function in this role for the last few years, but as a way of affirming their calling and leadership, we decided to hold this rite of the laying on of hands. It is an ordination service as we celebrate that these people are being set aside by God for this important ministry. I know that some have been elders in previous churches, but I ask that all take part in this ceremony as an act of dedication and commitment. Just as it says in 1 Peter, you are to tend the flock and exercise oversight, I ask that you show compassion and you support this congregation through prayer, pastoral care, and spiritual guidance and counsel. Assist with the proclaiming of good news and prayerfully help to guide us in the direction God would have us go. To do this, I encourage you to first nurture your own spiritual path so that you may be open to God's direction. Pray and worship, be leaders in service, and show us the heart of Christ. And most of all, serve with humility, knowing that though we are imperfect beings, our God, through the power of the Holy Spirit, can help us to offer the perfect love of Jesus Christ. Amen.